So this is game number 1 of a best of 3. It is going to be between 2 Protoss players. It is of course the Go for SC2 monthly finals. 600 euros on the line. And spawning down in the bottom right hand position, representing Vega Squadron, it is Cooltea. And his opponent up to the top left, the red Protoss player, it is First. So, PvP. This is a matchup where, obviously, a lot of aggression is usually seen early on by at least one of the 2 players. There's a heck of a lot of different openings. Well, there's, of course, a lot of fun stuff that can always come down. In terms of openings, things like Blinkstalker plays, things like Proxy Stargates, they're good on this map. There's a nice amount of space to utilize those, a good amount of places to hide Proxy Stargates as well. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see some things like that come down from either, perhaps both of these 2. Otherwise, yeah, 2 bases is usually the most you'll ever see in a PvP. Very rarely we'll get up to the joy of 3 bases, but it's unusual in PvP just because taking that 3rd base can be such a risk unless you're exceptionally awkward. Anyway, as this is going, let's just take a quick little look at what these 2 are doing. Adding in a couple of gases now. Both players going up to 2 gases at the same time, so we're going to have to wait and see whether or not they put a couple of probes in each gas, or if they decide to go the whole host and grab 6 in total. That would generally signify a bit more of a tech-heavy opening. This pylon is actually quite significant from First, and I am making quite a big point out, something not too important, but this pylon does give vision down to the side, so Blinkstalkers trying to come up would get noticed as soon as possible. So it is just a really minor thing. It's also a nice spot. You could put something like a Stargate down there just to get fractionally quicker to your opponent's base, but again, these are minor things. It's predominantly just for that vision down here. Anyway, Cooltea adding in that cybernetic score. Just chilling along. Nothing too crazy going on yet. Second gateway coming in. So this is the first big variation. Cooltea grabbing the 2 gates down. Usually you'll see this if we don't see any more gates, of course. These 2 gates just will go into a nice amount of production, probably into a relatively quick natural base, just to be on the safe side. With the 3 gases in each, we'll probably get a couple of sentries out, just to make like double, triple sure not going to die anytime soon. Again, another pylon coming down here from First, just granting a nice little bit of vision. Vision really is key here, just seeing anywhere Blinkstalkers could come up from. So, smart play coming down from First at the moment, who does just have his Mothership Core popping on out and chilling quite happily. Chronobase coming down now on this Mothership Core. All normal stuff. What are we getting out of the second one? Okay, double Stalker production. So, this means that Cooltea will definitely have the Stalker advantage. First, on the other hand, he's going into the Twilight Council, so he's gunning towards a Blink-style play. Neither player looking to expand yet. Just a quick little check around from First for proxies, because as I said at the start, this is a fantastic map to go for proxy Stargates on. So it's wise that First is checking around for that. Cooltea playing it a bit more safely, a bit more aggressive. He's adding in a Twilight Council of his own. Note this is a bit later, and that's because of the additional gas spent in another Stalker, getting that double production down. While that will mean the blink is quite a bit later, actually, at least kind of 32 seconds later, the advantage is simply that you will have a couple more Stalkers out in the field. First, getting some good damage down. Did lose a probe for just doing a lot of hull damage, but this is still a unit that's alive. Missing that probe means that a proxy pylon coming down will be a lot harder. I don't think another probe has actually been pulled out yet. It is now just on its way forward. Still, the Stalker production for Cooltea going very nicely. His Twilight Council's finished, but note he hasn't begun Blink yet. This is starting to become quite a substantial disadvantage, and I think that Cooltea has identified that, and that's why we're seeing him add in that robotic facility. If he can get a couple of Immortals out, that'd be really helpful. That snipe of First Stalker is actually really solid for him. Cooltea adding in Blink now. His robotic facility is nearly done, so he's probably going to be playing more defensive compared to that of First, just to make sure that he is able to thwart any pressure coming, but he should easily be able to do that considering he's already up by 2 Stalkers. He's adding in that 3rd gate. His blink will be a lot later, but it would have to be a very close timing coming down, to be honest, from First if he's going to utilize that. And to be honest, he could hit it if he wants to. A couple more Stalkers coming on in. It's still going to be 5-4 though. You need to see the production continue very nicely here for Cooltea. He's got to keep ramping this up. It's now 5 Stalkers to 5. You need to be careful. He is attempting to expand, but if he doesn't get some warpins quickly, that Stalker lead is going to disappear. He does have 1 sentry in order to force field off, but against Blink Stalkers, that's not going to be the most helpful thing in the world. The Natural Nexus, going to be taking a little bit of fire here. Shouldn't be forced to cancel yet. It depends what Cooltea decides to do. Moving down with these Stalkers, he doesn't have Blink yet, remember, and that is a astronomical disadvantage. Still got about another 50 seconds until that's done. That's going to seem like an eternity. He's trying to frantically grab out a Immortal. If he can get that out on the field in time, it may be okay for him, but note the Stalker count is now in first favor. Missing some production from Cooltea has really hurt him, and he's going to lose a Stalker as well. That is a massive loss now. He's now down by 3 Stalkers total. This Immortal has to get out quickly. Cancel force to the Natural Nexus. First, moving up the ramp. Going to be trying to get some more damage down. The Immortal soon to pop. Photon Overcharge not available. But this Immortal could get focused down if these Stalkers decided to blink forward. The Immortal out of range, not actually engaging yet, and that's a bit of a problem. Blink is done on both sides, but overall, if we look at the resources lost, first trading a heck of a lot more efficiently. About 450 less resources lost on first side compared to Cooltea. First also thrown in a couple of sentries now, just going to be trying to help with that. Observer coming on over there. Ooh, the Observer snipe, not quite there for first. Nearly managing to get that, but luckily for Cooltea, backed it out. First is going for his expansion now. This is a normal timing. He's got a bit of a soft contain. He's going to know that he can't easily move up because of that Immortal being there. So he's just happy to stay down the ramp, wait it out, and just be like, yeah, don't let him get an expansion. I've already got a 30-ish second advantage there, so that's all good for me. Probably going to have to back out now, but at least my economy is looking better than my opponent's, or at least the overall economy as this game goes on is looking better. He's going to end up getting about, well, just under a 50-second advantage on that Natural Nexus, and that's quite significant. That's nearly 2 additional probes that are going to come out, nearly a minute of additional mining there, so little differences can make a big difference in PvP. Mirror matchups are especially known for getting things very, very close, but it can suddenly go quite funny for you. So a bit of a counter-attack coming down now from Cooltea. Waiting to see what he's planning on doing. But yeah, this is all probably going to be thwarted off relatively easily by first. I think he's got an Immortal out now. Yeah, he has. So he's got 1 Immortal. He's got the Photon Overcharge, and he does... Actually, no, he doesn't have the Stalker advantage at the moment. Be interesting to see if this can actually do anything. There's no proxy pylon, so Photon Overcharge would have to do a lot here. Okay, there's the second Immortal. First should be absolutely fine at this stage. So first is already mining, and note this. He's had about a minute of just a small lead in terms of that income. It's not really very, very much, but it's about 150 more minerals he's going to get through there. By that alone, he's going to get an extra couple of probes out. So note, Cooltea has been producing probes from his main, so that's helped counteract the fact that he's fallen a bit behind in the production cycles there. So actually Cooltea not going to be losing too much in terms of the overall probe count at the moment, and that's really, really quite impressive by him. He's also grabbing down a forge, so he's looking to get down some upgrades. So is first though, a little bit behind. The more important thing is, when are these two going to look to tech up? Because, as always, somewhere someone will get a little bit brave in terms of attempting to get down Colossus. Whoever goes for that move first usually will get more if they don't die beforehand. Quick little blink away. The pylon trying to get taken down. Oh, Cooltea can lose a lot of Stalkers, unfortunately, here. That's very, very awkward for him. He only managed to kill off a couple of workers this game, but he loses 3 Stalkers for that. Not the greatest trade. He's now down by a lot of Stalkers, so a little bit frustrating there. No sign of the tech up into Colossus from either of these two as of yet, but first is starting to move forward. Feeling quite confident knowing that he will have a big lead in terms of the Stalker count after picking a couple of those off. Cooltea taking a nice look around everywhere, checks the upgrade, sees that it is being chrono boosted consistently. Photon Cannon also coming down from Cooltea, just in case first did attempt to go for that Blink Stalker harass like we just saw Cooltea do. But Cooltea, I think, may just run straight for the front. Going for a pylon here, he should be able to get that fairly happily. Blink forward by Cooltea, he's getting quite aggressive here. Having to trigger the Photon Overcharge will get a nice bit of damage down onto those Stalkers. Resources lost though, massively favouring first still. And that's going to be the problem for Cooltea overall. First, in terms of income, is now up by 2 probes, and he's going into the Templar Archives. That's up against the robotic facility for Cooltea. Now, Archons are going to be very, very strong here. As is this third base if it's able to stay up. But that could be a bit of a hope, if we're honest here. Note first, even though he got the Forge later, is ahead in the +1 upgrade. And that's because of consistent chrono boosting. Definitely what you want to be doing anytime you're going for this. First, also going for the Stargate. So, if he techs up, goes into Tempest, that'd be a really good counter to the fact that we do see, of course, that Robotics Bay coming down on the Colossus tech. Soon to be on its way. Mothership Core, being a little bit careful. The Immortal count, massively in favor of Cooltea. And that means the Blinkstalkers alone could never, ever, ever, ever engage into this army. They would just all get slaughtered brutally. Stargate first nearly finished up. He's adding in a few more gateways as well as getting charge. His third base, though, is hugely ahead. That's 70-odd seconds ahead. So another big advantage there for first, who overall this game is now a good margin up on his opponent. The important thing to note is that we've just got a couple of Stalkers chilling about at the moment, but the fact that the Colossus aren't out yet is probably the bigger problem for Cooltea. There will be the option to get some Archons, but this push is actually starting to look pretty scary. Now, first, he's got the Templar Archives, but no High Templar or Archons coming down yet. His third base is still vulnerable. I'm surprised Cooltea didn't actually try and pressure that a bit more, because if we take a look here, there's only the 2 Immortals. So, up against, obviously, the 5 Immortals that Cooltea has, he could have done a lot of work. Instead, choosing just to pull back, he wants to get out of those Colossi. One of which, the first Colossus, on the field now, but it's going to need more. Add in the fact the Fleet Beacon, somewhere, there we go. The Fleet Beacon has finished for first, means that he can start making Tempest. But generally speaking, you want about 6 Tempest out before you're able to start one-shotting those Colossi. That could cause it some problems. Otherwise, quick little scout. First, going to be very happy to see that his opponent is massively delayed on that third base. Doesn't even have any probes mining. That's giving a good minute plus of an extra 100 gas and an extra few hundred minerals per minute. So, again, every little really does help in a mirror matchup. Both players are up at 60 probes, though. So, composition is going to start making the bigger difference. Of course, the Tempest will be known about now. And first, if he can get up to that critical mass of Tempest, is going to get into a very, very strong position, because that's where the Colossi just stop being efficient in any of these trades. They'll just get absolutely slaughtered. The Archon counter as well is really going to start going into first's favor. Neither of these two are going to want to engage. Specifically first isn't going to want to engage until he has more like 6 Tempest down. When they take a minute to complete each one, that's going to be at least another sort of 4 minutes minimum before first wants to go for this. Cooltea, on the other hand, how many Colossi is he up to? Okay, so he's got 2 Colossus on the field at the moment. Realistically, he's going to be wanting more than that. He's going to be wanting sort of 4 out. So I'll wait to see if he is going to grab some more. He is going for a 4th base, although that's right in front of the Stalkers of first. So I highly doubt that the 4th base is going to last very long here. It may not even get cancelled unless Cooltea is very, very quick in his reactions. So, where does this game leave us? Probably the biggest thing is going to be the Tempest, as I've mentioned. If first can stall for another sort of 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes-ish, to get out 6 Tempest, first is in some trouble. Cooltea's in some trouble. First will be in a nice spot. But, Cooltea, does he actually have... Okay, so his 3rd Colossus is out now. He could start looking to pressure. He's got 3 Colossi, 5 Immortals. There's only 3 Archons there. So it'll be interesting to see what he chooses to do. But all importantly, the 4th base does get cancelled in time. Nice reactions. Quick blink forward. Are we going to see Cooltea try and engage here? Looks like he just wants to get a 4th base up. First, keeping good scouts. Using these hallucinated Phoenix. Gets a good look. He's also taking his own 4th now. So that's pretty level pegging there. Of course, that Tempest count forever climbing just a little bit higher. 3 now out on the field. Nice little Zealot drop going to be coming in. There is still the Photon Cannon there, though, so that's mildly annoying. But the Zealots, to be honest, once they're dropped out, won't have too much trouble there dealing with it. Big wave Warpins, though, coming from Cooltea. Will be able to save all the key tech structures. Not too much hassle. First actually going for another big... Oh no, it's First who went for that warp in. Never mind. First now has a lot of Zealots around here. Trying to get a good amount of damage down. Targeting the Forge. That's critical. He just denied +3 from Cooltea. He even gets an Archon as well. Potentially a Colossus. If the Colossus died, that'd be massive. The attention from Cooltea is still just at the front because a little bit of pressure coming in. The Colossus is going to be able to stay alive. But now the third is getting attacked. This drop play coming down from First is proving to be very problematic. A good number of workers have been killed, but more importantly, a good amount of money has been spent trying to defend this. Overall, the resources lost, still in First's favor, but a lot less of a discrepancy than it was earlier in this game. Now, one more Tempest. Or not, just the 5 Tempest. I'm sure it's 6. Or maybe that's only with certain upgrades. Maybe my brain is a bit broken. It has been a very busy day. But since First has stopped at 5 Tempest, I'm going to assume it's 5 that he needed. The vision granted by these Phoenix becomes critical. Waiting for the Tempest to move on in. First few shots coming down. Shot off on the Archon. Ideally, they want to be targeting that Colossus. Big blink forward. The Tempest do need to be careful here. If they start falling, it's going to start really hurting. But down goes one of those Colossi. Another one getting targeted very, very quickly. This is where the problems start really hurting. The Colossus count melting. The Archon count high on both sides. The Immortals slightly favoring Cooltea at the moment. The Tempests, now they've taken out those Colossi though. They've taken out a good chunk of this army. The Archon count is equal. The Stalker count fractionally in First's favor. First has also got a relatively nice engagement position thanks to those Tempests dishing out some nice damage. The Archons, they're really being big damage dealers here. But overall, that trade was a lot better for First, considering he took down all of those Tempest. Sorry, all of those Colossi with the Tempest. Both sides trying to get a couple of DTs in. It's going to be Cooltea going with a little Dark Templar hit squad, but with 2 photon cannons there, they could have some difficulty trying to take that down. The Tempest still shelling away nicely. Basically trying to take down anything that they can find. With only a handful of Stalkers, there isn't really much that can be done to stop that. Quick little wave of warpins coming here. Those DTs not going to achieve much more. Forward now comes these Archons and Stalkers. The Tempest do need to be slightly careful. Ideally, they want to try and force Cooltea down the ramp because that's when a better concave can be achieved. That Colossus will get taken down very, very easily. Army supply massively in First's favor now as he starts crushing through this engagement. The Archon count for Cooltea dropping frantically. A couple of DTs are actually in the mix for Cooltea, although the detection is granted by something. So they're not going to do too much else. GG is there. First is going to take game number 1 of this best of 3.